player versus player in Final Fantasy XIV Online. This is my first time doing it. Stick with me if you're curious about how to go about it. This is Mystic with Mystic Shepherd Gaming, and you go to the Wolf's Den, and basically I think you're at level 40 or 45 when you get the quest, or maybe even lower level. I don't recall, because even though I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for about 5 years now and gaming for decades, I can tell you that I have never ever played PvP in Final Fantasy XIV Online. So stick with me and watch this little clip where I'm opening up another part of player versus player, and I will give you some more info. This is opening up Royal something or other, and it's a really cool little animation or movie that you see where I'm opening it up. And if you've never played Final Fantasy XIV Online, this is just a small part of the basically the stuff that they put into the game, the thought process, the animation, everything. I mean, like, look at that. That is awesome. That is just to tell you, you have opened this up and you can go do this. Look how cool this is, right? So now, if that doesn't prove to you that I've never played PvP in this game, I don't know what would. So I'm going to each vendor or merchant or whatever in the player versus player area, in the Wolf's Den area. Now, every vendor here is specific to player versus player coin, or that you have earned. That's the only way you can buy any of the things that these merchants are selling. And let me tell you, there's hairstyles. There's a particular mount that I've seen that I keep forgetting I want this mount. So I'm actually going to be playing player versus player until I've gotten the 20,000. You could see Magitech Sky Armor Identification Key. That doesn't even really tell you. If you look up online the player versus player Magitech mount that you can get, basically it's a gorilla that carries you around in its hand. Either you're sitting in it, it's carrying you around, basically, or you sit like on its shoulders. It depends on your race, which dictates how you're riding this mount. Cool as anything. Cool. The hairstyles you can only get here. The gear you can only get here. Now, there are some that is similar that you could get at the Golden Saucer, but it's not identical. That's the thing, is they made it where basically people were like, man, I don't want a PvP, but I want this. Well, then they made like a little variation and said, okay, you can get it at the Golden Saucer. They still made you have to earn it, though, if you think about it, because it's using Golden Saucer coin. So now I'm going into this particular one, and it's, I wouldn't even know how to pronounce it. But basically, this is like you stand on it, you take the flag, and there are a lot of, there's 72 players. This is the most that I've gone into the game and had this many players in one area at once that were fighting and killing or playing, or however you'd like to say it. In normal raid dungeons, or not normal raid dungeons, in raid dungeons, I think the most I'm used to is, 24 people or something like that. I don't recall, but I know it's not 72. So this is a lot of spells going off. You could see the red people are, the red would basically, I think, is, there's red, green, and blue. And then, of course, the one that I'm with. So it's all indicative of, what side they're on. And it doesn't give people's names, which I really like that. You know why I like that? Because that way, if someone, is taken out, let's not even say killed, because, okay, your character is knocked out. Let's say that your character is knocked out by another character. You don't know their name. So you can't blame them. You can't give player hate. How cool is that? They've even thought to that extent that they don't show your name. They don't show your free company that you're in. They show nothing about you except what your class is. See, it says Paladin here. I'm fighting 3 people like a dum-dum. And of course, I was knocked out, you know. And for me, I'm just laughing and having a blast because, you know, for me, PvP, player versus player, is fun when I want to go in and play it. I've played with people that take it so seriously that they scream at you on mic, which, you know, of course, there are no mics in Final Fantasy XIV Online. You know, it's good and it's bad, but that's a whole nother discussion. So, you know, there's no one screaming at you. There's people that have created macros here and there. You know, I don't know if you'll be able to see it when there's like this yellowy orangey text in the bottom left hand corner where see right there. That's actually macros, which is another thing I did say I was going to make a video of, and I will do that for next week. Not next, you know, after the week after this video comes out, it'll be the following Saturday. I will make a video on how to make macros. So basically, there are people that made macros that are saying, "Hey, I'm over here. This is what we need to do. This is our goal," because they're used to new people like me coming in and being like, "Where do I go? What do I do? I don't know what to do." Regardless, look how much fun that is. I mean, like, you know, when have you ever been able to go into a dungeon or go into like a player versus player scenario, and maybe, you know, you'll have answers for me that I'm not expecting, and you can jump on your mount and ride over to where you need to go. And what would be cooler than that is being able to fly. But it's really cool to just even be able to jump on a mount and ride over. You know, because in dungeons you can't do that in this game anyway. You know, so it's really, really neat. Every aspect of this part of the player versus player for me was pretty cool. You know, as you can see, I was the only healer. I don't know if it worked out that way or if they only give one healer per group. I really couldn't tell you. One healer, one tank, and the rest was DPS. Maybe it's by design, maybe it's not. But you know, I can only think. You know, as far as a tank goes, you know, of course you want to go in there in your tank and get tank gear or whatever, but I don't know how much a difference, you know, when you're playing against other players, being a tank would be. You know, DPS and healer, I would think is pretty cool. And of course, you know, always play your way. So if you want to go in as a tank, go in as a tank. And you can see that I got rewards, 750, you know, wolf den coins, we'll call them. So I hope that you found this entertaining and it enlightened you a little bit. Each week there is basically one in each section of the player versus player that's opened. And it seemed that there would be a long wait for everyone but the one I went into. There's 4 a week that you can go in. And it opens up differently each week from what I read on the page when I was trying to queue up for something. So one week it'll be the same 4, the next week it'll be a different 4 that you can go into. So thank you so much for watching my video. Remember to smash that like button, ring the bell to be alerted when I put out new videos or go live online, and subscribe, but only if you want to. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again for watching my video.